What a world. So, for the National Basketball Association, the regular season is going to start in Orlando for the last 22 teams and the last 8 remaining games in Orlando on July 30th. So, very exciting. And for today, they actually did release the schedule for each of these teams going at it. There's going to be televised on ESPN, TNT, ABC, NBA TV. So, the regular stations that we're going to be accustomed to. This is all going to be packed starting from the beginning of July 30th. And then it's going to push off all the way to August 14th. So we're going to have around 2 weeks of basketball nonstop, around 6 to 7 games, pretty much a day. Starting off on July 30th, you're going to have the Pelicans against the Utah Jazz. So there's been reports of Zion Williamson hitting off on another level. We'll see if that's the case, especially because he's now had 3 to 4 months to recover. And now you have the Clippers against the Lakers. Exciting game. No Avery Bradley. Are the Lakers going to sign J.R. Smith? How are they going to fiddle around? If the Lakers lose that game, they have an excuse due to rust as well as the Avery Bradley change up in the lineup, depending on as well as Dwight Howard. But that's to be seen. I'm excited about the season here. But they're going to cover more about the scheduling.
Let's do it, because we already know exactly what's going to happen when the NBA returns on July 30th. The rubber will hit the hardwood. And take a look at our opening games. How about that? The Jazz against the Pelicans. You don't have to wait long to see Zion. And then Clippers versus Lakers. That is the first night. You mentioned it, Woj, that was the last game that we were all at together. But then July 31st, that's day 2. Grizzlies, Memphis, they're trying to protect that 8 seed, taking on the Trail Blazers at 4. Then we've got the doubleheader right here on ESPN. Celtics, Bucks, followed by Rockets.
Listen, when it comes to the standings and the seedings for the Eastern Conference as long as the Western Conference, in the East, the Bucks are 6.5 games taking on the first seed. No one's going to catch them. Same thing with the Raptors. They're 3.5 games over the Celtics. They're going to hold that down. And pretty much only the teams I could see kind of flip-flop are going to be either 4th or 6th seed. Those are the Heat, the Pacers, and Sixers. Those are the only seedings that they're around 2 games or 1 game behind each other. We can see a resurgence probably in the Sixers to where they can get that 4 seed. I expect the Heat to stay either a 4th or 5th seed. And then the Pacers could probably be knocked off to a 6th seed. Who knows? It's going to be pretty close in the standings. In the Western Conference, the Lakers have 5.5 games over the 2nd-seeded Clippers. So the Lakers are going to be fine chilling for these 8 games. Plus for LeBron, I know he's trying to go for that regular season MVP, probably his last chance, so I expect him to go hard in quote-unquote playoff mode for these 8 games when it comes to it. I expect the Clippers to stay at the 2nd seed, and then you do have 3rd seed through the 7th with the Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, Rockets, and Mavericks. They're around a game from each other, some of them around 2 to 3 games behind. So all that can be switched. There's a new demeanor because whenever there's a bubble quarantine session being playing in Orlando, no really home teams and away teams. So this could benefit for either or. But exciting to see and knowing
Mavericks
that
at 9 Eastern. I want to start at the top because the Lakers have the 3rd hardest schedule among teams in Orlando. And like you said, that was the last matchup that we saw. But which of these teams, J. Rose, would you say is best suited maybe for the environment that we're going to see in Orlando?
Yeah, going to the environment is pretty much going to be the veteran teams that pretty much have championship aspiration. They'll be fine in their environment. I expect the Bucks, the Clippers, as long as the Lakers as well. Those 3 are going to be the championship contender favorites. I expect at least 2 of those teams in the finals, let alone in the Milwaukee Bucks for sure in the East. In the West, the Clippers or Lakers. I got the Lakers as of right now. We'll see what happens with any other moves and injuries or coronavirus symptoms. But when it comes to that, any other teams, I think you don't have to sleep on the Mavericks. There's some teams like the Pelicans as well. They're coming up trying to go for that 8 seed, which they're around 2.5 games behind the Memphis Grizzlies. So that's something they can be able to take up. Zion Williamson has had reports and rumors that where he's taken off at another level. Besides from that, I don't see too much resurgence with these other teams. Mostly the contenders.
The elder statesman of the group, and that's LeBron James, because he didn't play in the playoffs last year, which meant he was done in April. Now he gets a 3-month break. When the Lakers were playing terrific basketball, you just said we were there. And that weekend they beat the Bucks and the Clippers. So they should be feeling good about themselves. They have 2 of the top 5 or 6 players in the entire league. And so I think they're in a great position.
That was a 112 to 103 win. AD had 30 points. LeBron had 28 points. And it seemed like they had the home court advantage as well, Woj.
They did. And also Avery Bradley in that game, 24 points for the Lakers.
Yeah, that's a sad moment that Avery Bradley's not going to be continuing with the team. There is personal reasons with his son. But looking at the Lakers, again, they have 8 games. They're around 5.5 games over when it comes to the Los Angeles Clippers, was their second seed. But the Lakers' schedule, fairly competitive when it comes to them. So they're going to play against the Clippers, then go against the Raptors, the Jazz, the Thunder, the Rockets, Pacers, Nuggets, and Kings. I expect them to at least go 6-2. I think LeBron's going to go all out for the MVP. He's going to want to be able to, the team not have any rust, kick it up from the start so they can get that good momentum coming into the playoffs. Let alone kick Anthony Davis back into track, and as well as if they do sign J.R. Smith in the mix, get him equated as well.
Those great perimeter Clipper players all over the floor. He's out now. He has decided to stay at home with his family, his 6-year-old son. And another thing, you talk about teams with an advantage there. Talk to coaches, organizations, players. Mental toughness is going to play an incredible role in who advances in this tournament. And Kawhi Leonard, how he approaches the game, a player who doesn't necessarily need to feed off a crowd and the fans and who can lock in. I think the Clippers feel having Kawhi in this environment is a great benefit for them.
Even though Kawhi Leonard's had around 4 months of low management, knowing the Los Angeles Clippers and him, since there's a lot of back-to-back games when it comes to playing these next 14 days and there's 8 games, I think the Clippers will probably sit him around 2 games out of 8 to give him some load management, to get him fresh going into the playoffs. Listen, the Clippers, they're chilling. They know they're going to finish with the 2nd seed, and they're focusing on going against the Lakers in the conference finals, which there won't be quote-unquote home court. So the Clippers are in a great position as of right now.
Yeah, he's averaging a career high in points and assists. Uncle P, we'll kick it to you. And do you agree with that? Are the Clippers one of the ones with the mentality, the mental fortitude that's going to bode well for them in Orlando?
I think just from top to bottom, like you said, Kawhi Leonard in this environment where crowd doesn't affect them. I mean, they have a great coaching staff who's going to keep them at an even keel throughout all of this. With Doc Rivers, Ty Lue, Sam Cassell, those guys over there. The Clippers are poised for a run. I mean, I know Jalen said that the advantage goes to the Lakers being the older team, but that, I don't quite really agree with that. Being the older team, when you have to sit for 3 or 4 months, and then you have to wake up those older legs to get out there and try to find a rhythm, that's going to be tough to do. It may take them up until after the first round of the playoffs. And so
I disagree with that notion because the first game in the season, it was the Lakers and Clippers. The Lakers were gelling very, very smoothly when it came to players. Everyone knows their position, their roles on the team. Even with Avery Bradley going to be dismissed, even if they do something like J.R. Smith, he and the team is really going to know their role in their playoff and championship aspirations. Very similar to the Los Angeles Clippers as well. I don't really see as much rust for any of those 2 teams, so I'm not worried on their side. Maybe the Milwaukee Bucks when it comes to it, but I think they'll be ready whenever it comes to the first round of the playoffs because they're probably going to be going against the Brooklyn Nets or the Magic. That's an easy sweep as well as maybe 5 games, but it's going to be they're going to have around 8 games to 12 to 13 to where they can knock off the rest and get used to it.
Clippers.
Uncle P, you're making it sound like you have some experience with those older legs, like you had. You did something
run that P Clippers footage.
Right.
Run that footage.
I'm not even gonna come for you right now.
Run
Jay will.
Get those Epsom salt baths ready, Pete.
Jay will, talk to me. Okay, the Lakers. Who do you think is the biggest competition or the team that they have to worry about the most under these circumstances?
Well, listen, and it's still going to be the same due to these circumstances. Listen, they're looking at the Los Angeles Clippers in the West, as well as the Milwaukee Bucks in the East. Credit to them, their last 3 games in the regular season before quarantine, they beat the Bucks as well as the Clippers. Dominant performances by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. and that kicks belief, hope, as well as chasing that championship and aspirations. So they left off on a really good note. Now they're entering this new season in the back end. So they pretty much has the confidence. They're going to be fine going at it, but they're going to have to eye, of course, the Clippers and the Bucks.
Well, I would say the Clippers, but I'm also going to talk about small ball revolution coming to Disney World, the ultimate wild card, which is the Houston Rockets. I mean, 2 MVPs on that team, and Russell Westbrook, James Harden. And you think about, what these last 3 months have been able to do for this team. PJ Tucker, who was playing the 5 position, had nerve damage. I mean, you wonder how he's going to be able to come back. Same with Eric Gordon, having some injuries that he's been battling throughout the course of the year. They'll get a chance to play against the Lakers. You talk about the Wizards and some other teams when you think about them. But it's still like the way this team plays small ball, I wonder how many teams will come into shape. And James Harden losing 20 pounds, Russell.
Yeah, that is crazy. Harden losing 20 pounds. Even though Harden can give you 40 points easily, Harden's going to be electric off the fast break, as well as whenever he's dribbling, going back and forth at the handles and drives to the rim. A lot more explosive and quicker. I'm very excited to see that brand for James Harden as their point guard with Russell Westbrook. Like I said before, the Rockets, they're 40-24. They're actually a game behind the 4 seed, as well as a game and a half, and around 2 games from the 3rd seed. And looking at their schedule right here, they're going to go against the Mavericks, the Bucks. Those are going to be 2 pretty hard games coming from it, but I think the rest of their schedule is fairly simple. They're going to go against the Blazers. The Blazers are already mentally checked out. Trevor Ariza's done for the season. Damian Lillard's not there mentally. They could probably steal one against the Lakers, and then against the Kings, Spurs, Pacers, and Sixers. I think the Rockets go at least 5-3. And, when it comes to the Nuggets, Jazz, and Thunder, I think the Rockets can actually slip into
Westbrook,
that
we
third
know what
seed.
kind of mentality he has. Robert Covington knocking down shots. If I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm trying to mirror the Lakers. I'm trying to see the Lakers. I'm trying to wait to see the Clippers until we get to the Western Conference Finals. So I'm trying to match up where can we find the Lakers, because they're big, we're small. That matchup bodes well against the Lakers better than it bodes against the Clippers.
And when you think about what the Lakers lost in this hiatus, not just Avery Bradley, but they lose the home court advantage that they would have had in the West.
Yeah.
And even against the Clippers, a 7-game series against the Clippers for the Lakers, it's going to feel like 7 home Laker games. And that was part of the reason why Rob Pelinka, the Lakers GM, had talked during the hiatus with other GMs, the league, about other advantages that we could get based on the fact that we earned that seed along with Milwaukee. Those really don't exist. But that is a huge advantage for the Clippers, Denver, Houston, that you're not facing a Game 5, a Game 7 environment on the road. And that is no small thing in this reformatted playoffs.
I think something else that you could hear from Jay Will was just the usage rate of some players. So for James Harden, he was 2nd in the league, and so his legs getting a little bit of a break, and we've seen him working out, how much that's going to help him. Other players or teams.
Real quickly, a lot of cats have been speculating on this. I've always thought about it with James Harden not disappearing in the playoffs or not performing as well. I give him pretty much credit. He has finished around the 1st or 2nd seed. He's been to 2 conference finals by himself leading a team, losing to the Warriors 4 out of 5 seasons on that dynasty. But when it comes to it, Harden goes hard in the season. Usually he's top 2, top 3 in MVP race. He's already won 1. And usually people think he burned himself out. And then entering the playoffs, his legs are too tired. So, if I know with the playoffs it gets a little tighter, he won't get those calls to the basket. But I think with Harden this playoffs and this postseason, we can actually expect more 30-point games. I doubt a 40-point game, but I think with fresh legs, he's going to be up there.
That benefit from the long hiatus that we've been able to have.
The squads that have multiple people that can dribble past and shoot. And in the East, the Boston Celtics stand out to me. Tatum, Brown, Hayward, and Kemba. Each of those guys can score 20 points in a given game. And the Clippers, like you guys just talked about, depending on Lou Williams, I hear reports that he's 50-50 whether he's going to join the team. The exact same thing. You mentioned Kawhi, Paul George, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell have all been playing terrific. And so those are the 2 teams. If I had to pick an NBA Finals, it would be those squads because it's going to be unorthodox. like rec ball on a Saturday with the wind blowing. It's going to be unorthodox. It's not going to be chalk. And
Yeah, but I still expect the Lakers or the Clippers to come out of the West, as well as the Bucks come out of the East. Even though the Rockets with James Harden rest in the team, I expect a peak for the Rockets, a conference finals. I don't expect that to happen. I think best case scenario, they actually lose in the second round. Before I was actually going to have them lose in the first round. I'm going to reevaluate that because now I just saw their schedule, and they're around a game or two from the third seed. So a lot of interesting things. In the Eastern Conference, I don't expect anyone against the Bucks to beat them to the final. So still same on the three teams I'm confident about. I think this gives an advantage to the Rockets in the Western Conference, as well as the Boston Celtics and the Young Cats in the East. But hey, guys, it's going to have to be determined.